Master and Men by T. Crofton Croker. Billy McDaniel was once as likely a young man as ever emptied a glass or handled a claw. Fearing and caring for nothing, Billy McDaniel fell into bad company, for surely the fairies, also known as the good people, are the worst of all company anyone could come across. It so happened that Billy was going home one frosty night not long after Christmas. The moon was round and bright, and he felt pinched with cold. "By my word," chattered Billy, "a drop of good liquor would be no bad thing to keep a man's soul from freezing in him, and I wish I had a full measure of the best." "Never wish it twice, Billy," said the little man in a three-cornered hat, bound with gold lace, and with great silver buckles on his shoes, and he held out a glass as big as himself, filled with good liquor. "Success, my little fellow," said Billy McDaniel, unafraid, though he knew the little man belonged to the good people. "Here's to your health anyway, and thank you kindly, no matter who pays for the drink." And he took the glass and drained it to the very bottom without ever taking a second breath. "Success," said the little man, "and you're heartily welcome, Billy. But don't think to cheat me as you have done others. Out with your purse and pay me." "I am to pay you?" said Billy. "Could I not just take you up and put you in my pocket?" "Billy McDaniel," said the little man, getting very angry, "you shall be my servant for 7 years and a day, and that is the way I will be paid. So get ready to follow me." When Billy heard this, he was sorry for having used such bold words towards the little man, and he felt that he had to follow the little man all night across the country without any rest. As the sun began to rise, the little man turned round to Billy and said, "You may now go home, Billy, but don't fail to meet me in the fort field tonight, or it may be the worse for you in the long run. If I find you a good servant, you will find me a good master." Home went Billy McDaniel, and though he was tired and weary, he could not get a wink of sleep for thinking about the little man. He was afraid not to do his bidding, so up he got in the evening and went to the fort field. He was not long there before the little man came towards him and said, "Billy, I want us to go on a long journey tonight, so saddle 2 horses." "If I may be so bold, sir," said Billy, "I would ask which is the way to your stable, for not a thing do I see except the old thorn tree in the corner of the field and the stream running at the bottom of the hill." "Go over to that bit of a bog and bring me 2 of the strongest rushes you can find," said the little man. Billy did so, wondering what the little man would do, and he picked 2 of the stoutest rushes he could find and brought them back to his master. "Get up, Billy," said the little man, taking one of the rushes from him and striding across it. "Where?" said Billy. "Why, upon horseback like me," said the little man. "Are you after making a fool of me?" said Billy, bidding me get on horseback upon that bit of rush." "Up, up, and no words," said the little man, looking very angry. So Billy, thinking all this was in joke, straddled the rush. "Borum, borum, borum," cried the little man 3 times, which in English means "become big." And Billy did the same after him. Suddenly, the rushes swelled up into fine horses, and away they went at full speed. Billy had put the rush between his legs without much minding how he did it, so he found himself sitting on horseback the wrong way. It was rather awkward, with his face to the horse's tail, and so quickly had his steed started off with him, and that he had no power to turn round. There was nothing for it but to hold on by the tail. At last they came to their journey's end and stopped at the gate of a fine house. "Now, Billy," said the little man, "do as you see me do, and follow me close." The little man said some queer kind of words, out of which Billy didn't understand, but repeated, In they both went through the keyhole of the door and through one keyhole after another, until they got into the wine cellar full of all kinds of wine. The little man fell to drinking as hard as he could, and Billy did the same. "The best of messers are you, surely," said Billy to him. "I have made no bargain with you," said the little man, "and will make none. But up and follow me." Away they went, through keyhole after keyhole. They mounted the rushes at the hall door and scampered off, kicking the clouds before them like snowballs, as soon as the words "Borum, Borum, Borum" had passed their lips. When they came back to the fort field, the little man dismissed Billy, bidding him to be there the next night at the same hour. Thus the day go on, night after night, shaping their course one night here and another night there, sometimes north, sometimes east, and sometimes south, until there was not a gentleman's wine cellar in all Ireland they had not visited. One night, Billy's master said to him, "Billy, I shall want an extra horse tonight, for maybe we may bring back more company than we take." So Billy brought the third rush, much wondering who it might be that would travel back in their company. Away they went, Billy leading the third horse, and never stopped until they came to a snug farmer's house in a county Limerick. Within the house there was a great deal of noise, and the little man stopped outside. Then turning round all of a sudden said, "Billy, I will be 1,000 years old tomorrow." "God bless us, sir," said Billy. "Will you?" "Don't say those words again, Billy, as you will be my ruin forever. I have come all this way because I think it is time for me to get married. And in this house is young Darby Riley, who is going to be married to Bridget Rooney. She is a tall and comely girl, and has come of decent people. I think of marrying her myself and taking her off with me." "And what will Darby Riley say to that?" said Billy. "Silence!" said the little man, putting on a severe look. He began saying the queer words that had the power of passing him through the keyhole as free as air, and which Billy thought himself mighty clever to be able to say after him. In they both went. For the better viewing the company, the little man perched on one of the big beams, and Billy did the same. There they were, both master and man, looking down upon the fun that was going forward, and under them were the priest and piper, the family of Darby Riley, the family of Bridget Rooney, and plenty to eat and drink on the table for every one of them. Now it happened, just as Mrs. Rooney caught the pig's head, that the bride gave a sneeze, which made everyone at table start, but no one said, "God bless us." The bridal feast went on without the blessing. "Ha!" exclaimed the little man, throwing one leg from under him with a joyous flourish, and his eye twinkled with a strange light. "I have half of her now, surely. Let her sneeze but twice more, and she's mine." Again the fair Bridget sneezed, but it was so gently that few except the old man seemed to notice, and no one thought of saying, "God bless us." All this time, Billy could not help thinking what a terrible thing it was for a nice girl of 19 to marry an ugly little man who was 1,000 years old. At this moment the bride gave a third sneeze, and Billy roared out with all his might, "God bless you!" No sooner was it uttered than the little man, his face glowing with rage, shrieked out in a shrill voice, "I discharge you from my service, Billy MacDaniel. Take that for your wages!" and gave poor Billy a most furious kick in the back, which sent his unfortunate servant sprawling upon his face and hands right in the middle of the dinner table. If Billy was astonished, how much more so was every one of the company into which he was thrown. But when they heard his story, Father Cooney laid down his knife and fork, and married the young couple there and then.